Oh, well, hello friends, Fujosevich here. Welcome back to some Hearthstone as we continue our Ramp Druid ladder climb in Season 39 here. Maybe not the most powerful meta deck out there, that's for sure, but definitely one that I think will be a whole lot of fun for us, and it should have, at least I've seen it have some decent matchups, specifically against Mage here. As much as Mage does have ways to be clearing our very large board, we also have a couple interesting ways to be healing up past that Alex burst that we expect to be coming our way, basically, which is an inevitability against most mages at this point. So I think we're just going to play our Barns here, trade in. Ysera is a great card to get from Barns, there's no doubt about that. Ysera Awakens is a great Ysera card to get, especially this early. So overall, I think we're pretty happy. We are looking to break our streak of the Moonglade Portal, giving us horrible, horrible cards. So we're hoping some of that happens. We know our opponent does have one secret in hand because they coined out their Arcanologist on turn 1. There's nothing we're going to do here. I guess we keep our minions away from pinging range, so our opponent can't just ping down our Mire Keeper. If we traded the Mire Keeper into the Arcanologist instead of Barnes, now at least our opponent needs to use some sort of resources. Probably something like a Volcanic Potion would do the job, but at least there's some sort of commitment of resources this turn. That's just scary because all we have right now is big minions. So I'm very tempted to not do anything silly. We're hoping for Ice Barrier, Ice Block. Neither of those. How bad is it if we give our opponent an Aya? It's not the worst thing in the world, so I'm going to go ahead and play into it. Like, even if it is Mirror Entity. So we gave our opponent a 1-1, and we lost the minion. So there is definitely a bit of tempo there from that secret play for our opponent. There's no doubt about it. But I think we need to pop that secret sooner than later, because we just have some ridiculous secrets that we really can't afford our opponent taking. Or, I mean, in some minions that we can't afford them to be stealing. Specifically, let's say Primordial Drake, something like that, right? Like, we just can't afford our opponent to be taking that from us. So this trade probably happens every time, right? I don't see why it wouldn't. Unless our opponent's just really crazy. Hey, their opponent's really living dangerously. Good for them. Let's go ahead and deal 1 here. We'll test for some spells and counter spells and things like that. None of the above. Do we want to ramp to 9? Honestly, I feel like we need a weak minion to play right now. Simply because I don't know what else we're going to do. I think we'll trade in this way. Oh, I guess we could have tested earlier. So it's either Ice Block or another entity. Right? Do we want to even ramp now, or do we want to save this for draw? I don't think we... What would we do next turn with 9 mana versus 8? Nothing that we have in hand. Maybe we could top deck Ysera, but there's no way I'm playing Ysera into a potential mirror entity. Unless we have the means to remove it on board, which at that point I think we're so far ahead anyways that it doesn't really matter, necessarily. I think we'll hang on to it. I don't even know why we would play it or why we wouldn't play it. Maybe we should, though. Like, maybe we should just play this anyways. Just to make sure that we do have the 9 mana, but at this point I'm tempted. Oh, boy. Okay. Scary stuff. Scary, scary stuff. Oh, that's not great. And you know what? Now we'll be able to pop a counter spell, right? There we go. Look. Perfectly planned. I'm tempted to Ysera Awakens. But we could also swipe and maintain our board, which maybe, you know what? Maybe that's going to be more important, knowing that we do have 12 healing in hand. Like, I wouldn't even mind healing myself next turn. As much as, yes, we are going to have to deal with an Alex sooner than later. If our opponent leaves his Barnes up, at least we can combo it with Ysera Awakens then to remove an Alexstrasza, which would be nice. That's a Frostbolt, so that's not the best thing for us, obviously, but that's a little bit of damage that's not going face. You know what? This is an okay Ysera Awakens turn right now. Because we'll be able to Ysera Awakens and then also heal it up. Which is pretty nice. And maybe we can get... Oh, the best deals. I guess we could find out about the best deals right now. So the terrifying thing, obviously, is... Oh, well, that's a terrifying result. 4-4. I guess I'd rather give our opponent a Curator than anything else. Okay, I think we had to play around that, though, to be honest with you. As much as, yes, maybe that was a little excessive, like I know, but I feel like if we'd given our opponent any of these huge minions, we would have lost right away. So that was probably the... I feel at least like that was the appropriate play. And then we'll have to... Oh, that is a good card for our opponent right now. There's no doubt about that. They definitely want some Fireball action. Polymorph action is also viable. Yeah, that's a good turn, I guess. I'm tempted to go ahead and Primordial Drake. Because it's a way for us to clear the board. And then we can worry about healing and things like that later. Obviously, if we get hit with Alex, we're not going to be in good shape. But if we get hit with Alex, then we have a couple other... We have some big slow stuff, but we kind of want to get some of this big slow stuff out right now. I am tempted to throw out the Deathwing, to be honest. Just so that we have, I mean, it's the 12 attack, which will be nice. Okay, so at least we're not getting hit with Alex or Archmage this turn, which is nice, but a secret would be terrifying. A secret would result in us forced to play Ironbeak Owl. And you know what, we might be forced to play Ironbeak Owl anyways. We can go Ironbeak into Moonglade, though. That's not a horrible turn, because hopefully we can find some pressure. And we have a couple things we can top deck. We do have the 2 Dark Arakoas, which would be actually great. We could Ironbeak and Dark Arakoa, and then just simply trade in here, which would be nice. I think we kind of want to do it that way. Or maybe we don't. No, you know what? I think we can just slam down the 12-12. Because it's not going to get through easily. And this at least threatens to pop our opponent's block, which is something. Maybe not a great thing, but then this way also we can kind of Ironbeak and then trade in after the fact. Now, obviously, our opponent can have all sorts of removal for Primordial Drake to get 5 to face, which would be bad. But I think that's kind of, that's kind of the trade-off that we have to play. And I think just, throwing out the Deathwing here, Deathwing version 2, since other Deathwing is in our hand, I will clarify which one I'm talking about. The Dragon Lord here. It's just a big threat. Our opponent isn't able to just throw out big slow minions anymore. So that's kind of nice that way.
Excuse me, you are on...
And that's totally fine what our opponent's just done here. It's... Oh, uh-oh. This is less fine if that's Fireball. Ugh, that's a lot of damage then. That's a lot of damage, so we are going to be forced to Moonglade, actually, which could be really bad. Let's hope we top deck... hey, that's a big card that we can't afford to play right now. Just because I'm scared of another mirror entity. Speaking of the mirror entities, do we want to pop the ice block here? Oh, okay, actually, what's going to be better? We go up to 21. Our opponent has a bit on board. Yeah, hold on. How much do they have? They have 1 Fireball left and a Frostbolt. So that's 9 from hand. This will be 9 plus 5 is 14, 15, 16. We'll be at 21. So the chances of us getting lethaled, and that's only 7, so that's 17 if it's Pyroblast. So our opponent's going to have to trade. So I think, yeah, popping the block now is going to be good. Because this way our opponent's not going to be able to Alexstrasza and play an ice block, which they would have to deal with our Deathwing now. And you know what? Even potentially a little Scaled Nightmare. That's definitely not the best 6 drop. Honestly, it feels like it's weird. Most of the Ramp Druid games that we've been playing right now have had a Moonglade portal in it, and none of them have been exceptionally... That's still a win for us, though. That's totally fine. None of these Moonglade portals have been really mind-blowing. Like, I'm going to look at the 6 mana slot. I'm not really that impressed with it right now. Like, it's a cool spell, and we need it as much for the healing as anything. I guess generating a body is just kind of a nice secondary addition. And maybe we shouldn't be looking to get, like, a be-all, end-all minion from it necessarily. I need to look at... I'll do some math or something and talk about it in a video or two. Okay, so it looks like another mage, which, in theory at least, in principle, our deck should be good at dealing with. We saved our early Wrath for an Arcanologist, which is generally good because those 2 mana will be adding up quite quickly as if our opponent just wants to start slamming face. If on turn 3 we're able to Wild Growth cleanly, which would be nice if our opponent plays slow. Yeah, so now I'm tempted to honestly coin to block the wild, to interrupt the Wild Growth. Okay, and that's honestly fine because then we'll get to hero power here and get rid of the Babbling Book. So now the thing that terrifies us, yet again, I feel like this is going to be a broken record. This is probably going to be all in the same video. With Ramp Druid versus Mage, if this ends up being Mirror Entity, we're kind of in trouble. Simply because we, right now, ideally would want to innervate something big out, right? The issue, yeah, like we would definitely expect this. Oh, and this is basically like the perfect... And I'm really expecting one of these to be Counterspell now. So if this gets Counterspelled and then this also gets Mirror Entitied, oh, we're in so much trouble then. What would we do instead? Like, we could Ironbeak Owl here and then kind of... I think we'll just Ironbeak Owl and hope for that Mirror Entity. Wow. Well, it shows how much I know. I mean, I still think that was a reasonable expectation there. That it would have been a Counterspell and a Mirror Entity. And it was neither of those things. Oh, no, wait. We didn't test for a spell, though, right? Yeah, no, we didn't play a spell. Yeah, all we did was the test for the Mirror Entity, which is good to know at least. So now we can try to innervate something out that'll probably get Counterspelled, but that's okay. Oh, fresh from Kazakus. Interesting. Good person to get your crystals from, I've heard. This is interesting. I mean, if we're going up against a slow control, discover type of mage here, I still think we'll be okay if and when we get to that sort of higher mana slot, which, I mean, we would have hoped we could have ramped a little bit faster, but again, the secrets definitely interrupt that game plan just because you have to, we have to play around them accordingly. We don't want to throw our Moonglade into a counterspell the same way that we didn't want to throw our Curator into a Mirror Entity, right? Like, that can just be so bad for us. So we kind of have to play around, and maybe we got, whoa. Oh, that's awful. So... And there is one counterspell, and that's honestly okay, I think. I think I'm tempted to throw out the Curator now. And then we'll have the Moonglade portals for face afterwards. As bad as this is, again, we end up floating the mana, right? Hey, the Menagerie is for guests only. Thank you for letting us know, Curator. Oh, it's interesting. Normally I make a silly joke about, you know, the Menagerie being for guests only and, like, the chess event for rogues and whatever. Like, that's just weird WoW reference. Semi-obscure WoW references, I would think. But now that we actually are playing a deck with Curator, that's actually cool. I can definitely get a little bit more creative. I don't just have to rely always on those same... we're going to go and heal first and see what happens. There we go. I didn't know this was a card, but he looks pretty cool. If your weapon has at least 3 attack, gain +4/+4. So if you were to play a rogue weapon deck and have your weapon buffed, then you could play a 6 mana 9/9. Which, to be fair, is pretty strong, right? Like, a 6 mana 9/9 is pretty strong. Oh, you can't see him now, right? Oh, there we can actually see the flavor text and everything. Like, 6 mana 9/9 is good. There's no doubt about it. But, and I understand this doesn't even trade, but unless our opponent has more removal and more big removal, we will be able to, you know, kind of get through this one. That was actually a really good pickup from our opponent. Because this actually came from Kazakus, right? So that's really tough for us. Another spell. Oh, I was going to say, if it's another spell, holy. Good for our opponent there. Ooh, Cabal Courier. Okay. A secret now would be the worst thing for us. Unless, again, if it's Mirror and then we play Mire Keeper and we're kind of able to go from there. Ooh, Dark Arakoa. Yeah, we're kind of off on our mana, but we'll go ahead and do this one. Please no Spellbender. Unless we get a better minion. No, that's a pretty good one. And we can just kind of slam down a big taunt. So our opponent has used a bunch of their burst on our minions. And we still have a Moonglade Portal. And we still have 10 health from the Forgotten King. Which is kind of cool. When I opened this card, I definitely thought nothing of him. And then last expansion, everyone was going all crazy. Doing all sorts of like, oh, we need some help right now. Yeah, we need some help. As much as we knew this was an inevitability. I wonder if we play Kun right now or not. Oh, if we still had that Innervate though, huh? What's going to be the winning play? This is my question. Like, I think Yashiraj might be the winning play. Yashiraj has a couple good pulls right now. We can get Primordial Drake. Both of the Deathwings and Ysera are all kind of good. Assuming we don't just die. Right? Like, there is that very real possibility that we simply die. And then no matter what we've done, we'll be bad. So maybe we do want to heal here. Like, we heal up to 21, and then we can play a couple minions. And trade off one of these. So that's kind of the safe play. The issue is if we get Yashiraj out and we don't die, like what would it be? Fireball, ping, then we take 10 damage. What would be worse? What would be worse? Polymorph is 4. Then it's 10, 12, and a frost. But we haven't seen any frostbolt, so maybe we do want to heal just so that we don't just die. Come on, be something awesome. High health and taunt. Summoning some 2/2s. We'll attack into here. It's unfortunate, you know, we don't run any hard removal. So that's the one thing. That's the one part of Alexstrasza being able to get to us. But if we were able to have ramped, I mean, we really haven't hit a super smooth ramp. This was an okay beginning of our ramp, but we played around those secrets a little bit. So it wasn't as smooth as we might have hoped. If that minion trades in and then we get it with a Flame Strike, we're going to be in really, really bad shape. Blizzard's also bad. Blizzard's also bad in this situation. Ping and just go face, no? Like, that's a simple enough play. Wow, our opponent wants us to have nothing right now on board. I can respect that a lot. Do we want a Deathwing? I don't want to. But the question is, should we? No, I'll gain 10 armor first. We can gain 10 armor first, I think. Healing up to 23 is pretty big, so we can't just die to Pyro here. But maybe Fireball, Frostbolt, Frostbolt. That's 6 plus 3 is 9 plus another 3 is... Uh-oh. Oh no, that's terrifying. Haha. We don't have that much healing left anymore in this deck. Remember when I was like, oh yeah, this is great. We have all sorts of healing. Yeah, we don't have that much anymore. Oh, that's also awful news. How are we going to get through this? We're going to Dark Arakoa, I guess. The issue is I want more armor, but I think we need this armor. I mean, we had to do it. We knew there's a real chance that we get counterspelled, right? And we try to pop this. I mean, I think the Medivh's Valets are kind of gone anyway, so that's okay. I think that was the better play. Yeah. We had to try and buff this up so it would trade smoothly. Even though, I mean, our opponent is slowly running out of hard removal, right? Like, they will eventually have to start trading. Thank you. Thank you for backing up what I'm trying to explain here, Alex. I appreciate that. Very kind dragon that you are. That's good removal. Okay, now we need to top deck Swipe. And, like, right now. I'll probably Deathwing if we don't find Swipe. Oh, when I said probably, I mean, like, we have to play Deathwing now, otherwise we lose, right? Like, there's 12 on board, and we're at 14. So, we have to Deathwing and hope for nothing silly. Well, Deathwing and, no Polymorph, basically. We just have to ask for no Polymorph. And, I mean, there's still a chance that we get burned out, right? Like, we've used a lot of our healing. So, our opponent could just start burning face, because it's still going to take a... top deck Ysera, maybe. Top deck Ysera, and maybe we have a chance. That's not good enough. Ysera, please? Oh, that's too bad. Oh, well. Oh, well. We had one good mage matchup earlier. I don't know, how can we still win this is my question. Like, our opponent's just going to have tons and tons of burn left to face, and we have no more healing left. And we've used basically all of our healing as well. That's the crazy thing, right? Yeah, if we had that swipe there to swipe down our opponent... Uh-oh, that was instant pick. Oh, we're probably just dead then. Oh, there's so many spells. Oh, there's so many fireballs. And that frostbolt, that's what we were expecting, right? We know we hadn't seen any frostbolts until the late game, which is unfortunate. Ooh, that one was rough. But, you know what? One mage game where we're able to do well. This mage game we did a little bit poorly, and I think we ramped unsmoothly. I think there was definitely something we could have improved on earlier on in this second game here. Something on the way that we kind of tried to smooth out our curve with the innervates. I feel like we were floating mana a lot of the time, and that kind of backfired at the end when we weren't using our resources as efficiently as we should have. But that's going to be it for this video, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I'm definitely enjoying this type of deck, even though we don't have the random shenanigans that Dragon Priest does, or the Priest class in general does right now, but I'm still enjoying it. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Keep your stick on the ice.